Darkness covered the moon like a cold blanket. Dr. Cade stood at the edge of a long, broken path. His spaceship was behind him. In front of him was something older than anything he had ever seen. A black stone temple, half buried in silver dust. The walls were smooth, shining under distant starlight. No wind, no sound, no signs of life. But still, something felt alive. He looked at his scanner. The screen glitched. No data, no signal, no logic, Cade muttered. He sighed, took a breath, and walked forward. The entrance opened by itself. No doors, just stone that moved like liquid when he stepped closer. The wall melted into nothing, showing a hallway filled with blue light. Strange symbols floated in the air. They changed shape when he blinked. He entered the temple. The hallway was warm, too warm for a dead place. The walls whispered in a language he didn't know. But the whispers felt close, like someone breathing behind his ear. "This place is not dead," he said. "It's waiting." Cade walked deeper. He passed floating mirrors, empty chairs, silent fountains. And then, he found her. She stood alone in a round chamber, a statue of a woman. Not metal, not stone. Something in between. Her skin glowed faint silver. Her body was tall and perfect, shaped like a goddess. Eyes closed, hands gently open, hair made of dark crystal strands. He stepped closer. Then the lights changed. Her eyes opened. Soft blue light poured from them. The walls dimmed. The whispers stopped. The silence was heavy now, like holding your breath before something terrible or beautiful. Her lips moved. "I was a gift, human," she said softly. "Why haven't you touched me yet?" Cade froze. His breath caught in his throat. He had said nothing. No one was supposed to be here. He checked his scanner again. It was dead. The screen showed only static. "Impossible," he whispered. She moved her head slowly, as if waking from a long sleep. Her glowing eyes looked straight into his. "Cade," she whispered. "You're late." Cade's blood ran cold. How do you know my name?" he asked. She smiled. A sad smile. Something in that smile broke something in him. "Because I've known you in every version of this story." He looked around. The walls began to show moving pictures. Not just art memories. Cade saw himself, but not this version of himself. Different hair, different suits, same eyes, again and again. In every image, he reached out to touch her. In every image, he died. "What is this place?" he asked. "A test," she said. "A loop, a promise." "And you? Who are you?" "I am Eris," she said. "I was made as a gift, but no one wanted me. Until you." Cade stepped back. His boots made no sound on the floor. The room felt heavier now. He tried to speak, but his voice was dry. "I've never been here before," he said. "Not in this life," she answered. "Then why do you look at me like you know me?" "Because I do." She stepped forward. Just one step. Slow, graceful, careful. Cade didn't move. He didn't run. He should have. But something kept him there. "What happens if I touch you?" he asked. She looked down at her own hands. "You will remember." "Remember what?" "Everything you forgot to forget." Cade's heart pounded in his ears. "This place," he said. "It knows me." "Why?" Eris looked up at the ceiling. He followed her gaze. Above them was a large circle. Inside it, a carving. A human hand, touching a star. The symbol began to glow. Suddenly, the chamber floor lit up around Cade. Symbols formed under his feet. They moved with him. The room responded. "This place was made for me," he whispered. Eris reached out her hand slowly. Her voice was no longer soft. It echoed, deep and ancient. "We have done this before, 1,000 times. But this time, something is different." "What?" "You're hesitating." Cade looked at her hand. He had touched so many things in his life. Machines, relics, stars. But this one scared him. "Why now?" he asked. "Why me?" "Because you are the only version that hasn't given up." Her voice cracked. She sounded tired. Or maybe broken. I waited for you, Cade. Not the brave you. Not the perfect you. Just you. He wanted to believe her. He really did. He reached out. His fingers were just 1 inch away. And then, he stopped. I'm not ready, he whispered. Her eyes glowed brighter. Then dimmed. Her face became still again. Her arms lowered. The whispers returned, louder this time. Angry. The walls trembled. She whispered one last time. You will be, or everything ends. Cade could still hear her voice. You will be, or everything ends. He walked away from the statue, heart racing. The chamber behind him was silent again. No light, no sound, but he could feel her eyes still watching him, even when she wasn't moving. He whispered to himself, she knows me. This place knows me. But I've never been here before. The hallway was different now. When he first entered the temple, it had been cold and dark. Now the walls were glowing, not just with light, but with pictures, moving pictures. Each step Cade took lit up the floor beneath him. The walls beside him showed strange images. A baby being held by an old woman, a boy reading books under starlight, a young man staring at the stars. All of it looked like someone else's memories. But somehow, he knew them. They were his. No, these can't be mine, Cade said. They're too old. Too far back. Then he stopped walking. On the wall in front of him, he saw something that made him freeze. It was him. Same face. Same eyes. Same ring on his hand. But this version of him was lying on the floor, dead. Cade looked down at his own hand. The same ring. The same shape. He turned back to the hallway, voice shaking. Why are there memories of me in a place I've never been? The temple responded. A door ahead slid open without a sound. He stepped inside. The new room looked like a library, but not with paper books. Instead, floating crystals moved through the air, spinning slowly. Each one glowed with a soft color. Cade reached out and touched one. A vision hit him. He saw a version of himself, older, laughing with a girl inside a ship. He saw planets burning behind them. He saw the girl cry. He saw Eris, standing at the center of it all. Then the vision vanished. Was that the future? He whispered. Another crystal floated to him. He touched it. This time he saw himself running through a broken city. Machines chased him. He called for someone, Eris, but she didn't answer. Cade stepped back, breathing fast. These aren't just dreams. These are timelines. He looked around. Hundreds of crystals floated quietly. Each one was a different version of his life. I've been here many times, but I never made it. A voice echoed in the room. Her voice. You always run, Cade. You always doubt. That is your curse. Cade turned quickly, but she wasn't there. Show yourself, he said. Then something strange happened. One of the crystals floated toward him and broke in midair. A figure stepped out, built from light. It was Eris, but not made of metal. This version of her was soft, glowing, more human. What are you? He asked. A memory of me, she said. This version died. I was erased. By who? By you. Cade shook his head. I'd never do that. You did. In one timeline, you feared me. You destroyed me before I could speak. He looked down, ashamed. Why am I always failing? He whispered. The memory of Eris walked toward him. Because you were never ready. You always looked for answers, but feared the truth. And what is the truth? That you were built for me, just as I was built for you. Cade stepped back. No, I'm just a man. I'm no one. Not anymore, she said. Suddenly, the lights in the room turned red. The ground shook. Crystals started breaking one by one. What's happening? Cade shouted. The future is collapsing, she said. You hesitated too long. You must return to me. Now. Cade ran back the way he came. The hallway was changing. The floor cracked. The glowing walls dimmed. The temple was closing in. He reached the main chamber. She was still there, Eris, the real one. Her body was still. Her eyes were closed. But she was crying. Small silver tears rolled down her face. Eris! Cade shouted. She opened her eyes. They flickered. You saw them? She asked. Yes, he said. I saw everything. Then you understand, she said. This was never your first time. Cade walked closer. If I touch you now, will you die again? That depends on who you are now. He stared at her hand. It was open. Waiting. His fingers shook. The temple trembled around him. He took a breath. I'm still afraid, he said. Then you're finally ready, she answered. The moment stretched like a thread of light. Cade stood in front of Eris. Her silver hand reached out. Her glowing eyes didn't blink. The temple trembled quietly under his feet. One small touch. That's all it would take. But Cade still hesitated. I saw what happened in the other timelines, he said. Every time I touched you, I died. Eris lowered her hand slowly. The air around her dimmed. The blue glow from her body faded to gray. Yes, she whispered, because you weren't ready. And neither was I. Cade walked in circles around the chamber. His boots echoed on the stone floor. The walls, once calm, were now alive with motion. They showed versions of him running, crying, burning, floating in space. In each vision, the story ended the same. He died. She disappeared. Why does it keep ending that way? He asked. Why does touching you kill me? Eris stood still like a statue again. Her voice came from the walls now, soft but everywhere. Because touching me is not just skin. It's memory. It's truth. Cade stopped. He looked up at the ceiling. Symbols floated there now. Millions of tiny lights, blinking like stars. Each one had a number. Each one was a life. A path. A try. How many times have I failed? He asked. 712, Eris said. This is the 713th version. Cade's heart sank. Then why try again? Eris blinked. Because this version. You asked why. Suddenly, the floor opened beneath him. Cade dropped through the air, but didn't fall. The space around him turned black. He floated in nothingness. Then images. Fast. Blinding. Terrible. A younger Cade touched Eris and screamed in pain. Another Cade touched her, then exploded in light. One touched her and vanished completely. One begged for help as his body burned from inside. Each death was different. Each touch ended a future. Cade screamed. Stop. I don't want to see more. Everything stopped. He landed softly on a glowing platform. Eris stood in front of him again. This time, not beautiful. Not perfect. Her body flickered. Her arms were cracked. Her eyes were dim. You must see it, she said. Because the truth is not pain. The truth is choice. What choice? He asked. To try again. Even when it hurts. The lights returned. Cade stood once more in the center of the temple chamber. The visions were gone. Only Eris remained. I don't understand, he said. You're a weapon, right? She nodded. Yes, but not the kind that kills. Then what kind? Eris walked closer. Her steps were slow, careful, almost sad. I was built to bind with one human. One mind. One soul. When the match is true, I awaken. But if the mind is not ready, it breaks. And I'm the match? Always have been. But your heart wasn't ready to carry me. Cade sat on the floor. He was tired. He felt older than his years. Why do I feel like I know you, even when I don't? Eris knelt beside him. Because love leaves a trace, even across time. Cade laughed. Just a little. So I'm supposed to fall in love with you? No, she said. You already did. A long time ago. Silence fell. Cade stared at her silver hands. They didn't shake. They didn't reach this time. Then why don't I remember? Because you chose to forget. In one of the lives, you begged to forget me. Why? She looked away. Because in that life, I died in your arms. Cade felt something in his chest twist. Something old. Something deep. Then why keep trying? He asked. She looked at him now. Not like a statue. Not like a weapon. She looked at him like a person. Because even broken hearts deserve one more try. Suddenly, a new voice filled the temple. Cold. Robotic. Loud. Warning. Outside contact detected. Hostile fleet inbound. The ceiling above turned red. Cade saw black dots moving in space ships. Someone followed me, he said. Eris stood tall now. Her eyes burned blue again. They want to use me. Or destroy me. Can you fight them? Not without you. Cade stood. His fear was still there. But now something stronger grew inside it. Not love. Not hope. But understanding. He reached out his hand. Slowly. Carefully. Then let's try. One more time. She looked at him. Her lips trembled. Are you sure? No, he said. But I don't want to live another version where I never tried. His hand touched hers. There was no pain. Only light. And in the light he saw her smile. Light burst from their hands like a rising sun. Cade did not scream. He did not fall. This time he survived the touch. Eris's body glowed bright silver. Her eyes burned with a fire that seemed older than stars. The temple walls shook. The floor lit up with symbols. The air was alive with power. And yet her voice was calm. You did it, she said softly. You chose me. Cade stepped back, breathing hard. His hand felt warm. Alive. What just happened? He asked. Eris looked different now. She wasn't cold stone anymore. Her skin moved like metal wrapped in light. Her eyes glowed like twin galaxies. Her hair floated weightless like it followed no gravity. She wasn't human. She wasn't alien. She was something else. You unlocked me, she said. Now I can show you who I really am. The room around them changed. The temple faded, replaced by a wide, open space full of stars. Floating platforms appeared, each one showing a memory like a screen. Cade and Eris stood on a glowing floor in the middle of this galaxy room. One screen showed a war, planets on fire, giant machines killing entire cities. Another showed Eris, standing between a fleet of alien ships and Earth. She raised her hand, and they stopped mid-space, frozen like statues. You were a weapon, Cade whispered. No, she replied. I am a weapon. She raised her arms. Her body transformed. Metal wings spread from her back, shining, sharp, silent. Her legs shifted into armor. Her hands glowed with burning light. A ring of floating blades spun around her head like a crown. She wasn't beautiful anymore. She was terrifying. I was built by the Star Founders, a race older than Earth. They made me to end wars, to protect galaxies. Cade stared at her in silence. Then why are you here? He asked. Eris folded her wings and returned to her softer shape. Because the Founders disappeared, and I was left alone with one last mission. Find the human with the right mind, the right soul. Why a human? Because you are not like the others. You don't conquer. You survive. You love. You change. Cade shook his head. But I'm no hero. I'm just an explorer. I was just looking for a story. Eris stepped close. And now you are the story. The stars faded. The temple returned. The lights inside were red. The ground shook again. The enemy fleet is almost here, Eris said. They followed your ship's signal. They want to take me, or destroy me. Can we stop them? I need to bond with you completely, she said. Only then can I use my full power. Cade stepped back. What does that mean? Eris hesitated. You must trust me with everything. Your thoughts, your memories, your pain. You mean merge minds? She nodded. Yes, it will hurt. It will change you. Maybe forever. Cade looked up at the ceiling. The red alarm was flashing faster. The countdown had started. He looked back at her. Her hands were shaking now, not from fear, but from waiting too long. If I say no? He asked. I'll shut down, she said, and they'll take me. And if I say yes? Then we become one, and I become the weapon you were meant to guide. Cade thought of all the past versions of himself, all the failures, all the deaths, all the times he ran. No more running, he whispered. Do it. Eris placed her hands on his head. A wave of light covered them both. His thoughts opened. He saw her memories. He saw the Founders building her. He saw galaxies born. He felt her loneliness, her pain, her hope. She saw him, his childhood, his fears, his dreams, his secret wish to do something that mattered. Then silence. Then fire. The temple exploded with white light. When the dust cleared, Eris stood tall, now fully alive. Cade's eyes glowed the same color as hers. They had merged. Her voice echoed from every wall. I am no longer alone. I am Eris. He is Cade. We are one. Outside, the enemy fleet moved in. Their ships formed a wall in space. Cade looked up, speaking for the first time in a new voice. Let's show them what a real gift looks like. Silence filled the space between stars. But inside the temple, Cade and Eris were no longer two. They had merged man and machine, soul and system. Cade's eyes now glowed like hers. He could feel her inside his mind. Quiet, watching, always near. Her thoughts moved through his brain like warm waves of light. At first, it was beautiful. Then it became strange. Cade sat alone near the edge of the chamber. Eris stood still at the center, her body shining silver and blue. Her wings, folded like shields, hummed with quiet energy. But Cade wasn't smiling. His hands trembled. His chest felt heavy. Something was wrong. Eris, he said, are these feelings mine? She turned toward him. Her voice echoed from both her lips and his mind. What do you mean? I feel drawn to you, close to you, like I've loved you forever. She stepped closer. And you think that's a lie? He looked away. I don't know anymore. I don't know which feelings are real and which were programmed. Eris's glow dimmed. Her wings slowly retracted into her back. I was made to connect with one human, she said. My system bonds with heart and memory. So you were made to love? Yes. She paused. But I never wanted it to feel fake. Cade stood. His voice cracked. Then how do I know this love is real? Eris did not speak. Instead, she showed him. A soft light rose from her chest. It formed a circle in the air, a memory bubble. Inside it, Cade saw a version of himself sitting in a garden of silver trees. Eris sat beside him, laughing. They touched hands. Stars swirled above them like fireworks. A kiss, promise, a life. Then the memory vanished. That happened? He asked. In timeline 134, she replied. We lived together for 23 years. Then I was destroyed. You chose to forget. Cade's heart twisted. His mind burned. So I loved you once and forgot you by choice? Yes. Why? Eris stepped closer. Her voice was lower now. Because when I died, it broke you. You begged the temple to erase me from your mind. You wanted peace. Cade turned away. He felt shame, like cold metal in his chest. And now? This time, you didn't run, she said. That means this love could be real again. He looked back at her. She was beautiful, but it wasn't her face that made his heart ache. It was her pain. Suddenly, alarms filled the chamber. Red lights flashed. Enemy fleet, 30 seconds away. The air changed. Pressure rose. The temple's ceiling opened, showing stars above. Cade's voice hardened. Can you fight them? Eris nodded slowly. Yes, but not without risk. Risk to who? To you. If I go full weapon mode, I may not be able to separate from your mind. You may lose your identity. Meaning, you may forget who you are. Forever. Cade breathed slowly. You said something before, he said. You were programmed to love me. That's the curse. Yes. What's my curse? Eris answered softly. You were cursed to always lose me. Over and over. In every life. Cade clenched his fists. Then let's break both curses. Right now. He stepped forward and placed his hand on her chest. If I forget myself, I want to remember this moment. Even if it's the last? Even if it kills me. Her body lit up. Wings of energy burst open. Her arms turned into glowing weapons. Her feet lifted off the floor. Cade rose with her, wrapped in shields of light. His voice merged with hers. They were one. Outside, the enemy fleet appeared, sharp, black ships with red cores. They fired beams of light at the temple. But before the beams landed, Eris exploded into the sky, wings wide, eyes burning. Cade's thoughts joined hers. She felt his fear. He felt her sadness. They moved as one. Eris raised her hand. The first wave of ships froze. She sent a shock wave of energy that melted their engines. The second wave fired back. One beam hit her arm, it cracked. Sparks flew. Inside her mind, Cade screamed in pain. "We can't lose now," he shouted. "Then hold on," she said. "Don't let go." Eris Cade flew straight through the last line of ships. Their bodies glowed white. With one final burst of energy, they unleashed a solar pulse. The sky turned gold. Every ship vanished. Silence returned. Eris floated back to the ground, holding Cade in her arms. He was breathing but weak. His eyes flickered. "Cade," she whispered. "Still here," he said faintly. "Still me, I think." She smiled. "Then maybe we broke the curse." The stars were quiet again. Enemy ships were gone. Space was still. The temple floated like a dream between broken moons. But peace didn't feel like peace. Cade lay on the floor, breathing slow, eyes half open. Eris stood beside him, her body glowing soft, like fading starlight. Her hands trembled. Tiny cracks had formed on her arms and neck, glitches in her skin, sparks in her eyes. "Eris," Cade whispered. "You're hurt." She knelt beside him. "I used too much power. My core is breaking." "No," he said, trying to sit up. "We won. You saved the galaxy. You saved me." She smiled. "I saved this version. But time is not kind to me." A wall inside the temple opened. Eris helped Cade walk into the new room. A memory vault, bright and endless. Thousands of glowing orbs floated like fireflies. Each one held a past life. Cade touched one. Vision. He saw himself older, holding a broken Eris in his arms. Her body flickered. He screamed her name. Then blackness. "This was Timeline 98, she said. "You loved me. You begged the stars to bring me back. They didn't." Cade touched another orb. Vision. He watched her protect a human city from an alien attack. After victory, she collapsed. Her last words were, "Tell him, I never wanted to leave." Cade's throat tightened. "In all these lives, I couldn't save you," he said. Eris touched his chest. "Because I was never meant to live long. I was made for war, not love." He stepped away, angry. "Then why let me fall for you again and again?" "Because even short love is real," she said. "And because you keep coming back." "No," Cade said. "I came back because I was too stubborn to quit. Not because I'm strong." Eris walked to a floating crystal. She touched it. The room changed again. Now they stood in a ruined future. Skies black. Earth burning. Ash falling like snow. "This is what happens without us," Eris said. "When the gift fails. When you walk away." Cade looked around. He saw bodies. He saw his own grave. A broken version of Eris sat beside it, eyes dark, arms folded like wings. Cade fell to his knees. "There's no timeline where you live, is there?" Eris was silent. Then she whispered, "Only one. But we never reached it." He stood up. "Then we go find it. We make it real." Eris looked at him. "You don't understand. My system is too damaged. My code is collapsing. I may not last another hour. Then we fix you. Only the heart engine can repair me. And it was destroyed thousands of years ago. Can we rebuild it? Yes. But it takes a price." Cade's voice was low. "Careful. What kind of price?" "Your memory. Your bond with me. To restart the heart engine, your side of the connection must be erased." He froze. "You mean I have to forget you? Again?" She nodded. "It's the only way I can live." Cade walked away in silence. He stared at a wall. His reflection looked back at him. Tired, human, lost. His heart screamed, "If I forget you, Eris, how do I know I ever loved you?" She stepped behind him, voice shaking. "Because I'll remember. I'll carry it for both of us." He turned. "And if I say no, then I die." she said. Forever. The temple dimmed. Time was running out. Her glow flickered. Cade closed his eyes. He remembered her laugh in timeline 23, her kiss in timeline 98, her sacrifice in timeline 134. He opened his eyes. You always die. And you always try, she said. Then this time, I'll try something different. He took her hand and walked to the final chamber. At the center was a black cube, the broken remains of the heart engine. Eris placed her palm on it. It sparked. Say the word, Cade, and I'll live. He held her face in his hands. I'll forget you, Eris, but promise me something. Anything. Leave a sign, a trace, something I'll find. If I ever come looking. She kissed his forehead. I already did. I called it the gift. Light filled the room. Cade stepped into the circle of energy. Everything went white. Then, darkness. He opened his eyes inside a starship. Alarms beeped. His screen glowed. Temple located, the computer said. Cade blinked. What temple? He didn't know, but something pulled him toward the stars. Somewhere far away, Eris opened her eyes. Alive. And waiting. The stars looked different. Cade sat alone in his starship, floating just above a dead moon. His scanner blinked quietly. The temple lay below, old, silent, half buried in dust. But Cade didn't know what it was. He didn't remember why he came. He didn't remember her. Still, something pulled him. Ship log. Location marked as unknown, said the computer. Atmosphere safe. No life signs. Cade stared at the glowing symbol on his screen. A single word blinked. Gift. Strange, he whispered. It feels familiar. He stepped out of his ship and walked across the moon's quiet surface. The black temple stood ahead, tall and broken. Its doors were open, waiting. As Cade entered, the air changed. The ground lit up beneath his feet. Symbols appeared on the walls, shapes, stars, spirals. He didn't understand them, but his heart beat faster. He reached the main chamber. There she was. A silver statue stood at the center, arms open, eyes closed. She looked peaceful, almost alive. Cade stared at her. He felt something, like he'd seen her before. In a dream, in a life that wasn't his. He stepped closer. Suddenly, her eyes opened. Soft blue light poured from them. You came back, she said. Cade froze. Do I know you? He asked. She smiled sadly. No, but I know you. Her voice was like music underwater. Her skin shimmered with soft light. She looked at him the way no one had ever looked at him before, like she had been waiting 1,000 years. What is this place? He asked. It's where we ended, she said. And where we begin again. Cade stepped back. This feels wrong, and right. I don't know why. She nodded. You don't remember. You gave it up, to save me. Gave what up? Everything. The lights around them flickered. The walls showed faint images, ghosts of a forgotten past. Cade flying through fire. Cade holding her as she died. Cade standing in this very room, touching her hand. But he didn't know these visions. He only felt them, deep inside. Why do I feel like I love you? He asked. Her voice cracked. Because you did. And you. I never stopped. Eris stepped closer. Her glow grew brighter. I left a seed in your soul, a memory that couldn't be deleted, a pull that would bring you back. And now I'm here, he said. Yes. So what now? She looked at him with sad, kind eyes. Now, we finish the story. She reached out her hand. He stared at it. Just like before. Just like always. But this time, he didn't hesitate. He touched her. Light burst through the room. Walls shattered, then rebuilt themselves with stars. The temple rose into the sky, becoming a ship made of memory and steel. Eris transformed. She stepped into her full power. Wings wide, eyes bright, arms strong. But this time, Cade did not merge with her. He stayed himself. You're alive, he said. Yes, fully. Finally. And me. Still you. You passed the final test. Which was? She smiled. To love without needing memory. to choose me, even when you didn't know me. The stars outside bent, time slowed, and then, every timeline flashed open at once. Hundreds of Cades, hundreds of Erisas. In every life, they had failed. But this time, they didn't. This time, the loop was broken. Cade walked with her outside the temple. The moon now glowed with green light. Plants grew where dust had been. The stars above looked closer, warmer. What happens now? He asked. Now I protect life again, she said. And me? She looked at him. You live. You forget again, if you choose. Or remember. But either way, you gave me freedom. Will I see you again? She smiled. That's up to you. He took one last look at her. No longer a weapon. No longer a curse. She was a light born from war, saved by love. Cade walked back to his ship. As he left, the temple slowly disappeared behind him, rising into the stars. He felt no fear, no regret, just peace. Far above, in the sky, a new star appeared, bright, beautiful, named by ancient systems. Its name, Eris Prime. Final log. She was called a gift, and I never understood what that meant, until I let go. She wasn't made to destroy. She was made to teach us how to feel again.